Hello, I'm John Kane, and when I'm not busy working on the greatest horror movie of all time, Heathen, I like to enjoy Jack Daniel's Apple. This is not a paid endorsement.
No, but if they want to send us, a free sample so that we can review it, that's fine by me.
Crisp and refreshing.
Now back to I Know What You Watched Last Week, where we review 3 horror movies that we watched the previous week. And I'm glad to share with you that we have 3 perfectly decent watches to review this week. Yeah, decent. Yeah, I won't say they're fantastic because I feel like our...
People come here for reviews of decent movies.
Well, compared to what we normally watch, they're incredible.
It's like going
but
to...
I need to try and reset my standards.
A sunshine seaside place abroad, and they've run out of shellfish, but they do a decent steak. I've not come here for the decent steak.
Okay. Well, the steak this week...
You may like to enjoy said steak with Jack Daniel's crisp apple.
Oh, Johnny, that's enough. You can drink it, but that's enough talking about your beverage, your beverage. So, we started the week...
It's not going to be the last time I mention it.
With... Actually, wait, we have a kind of special. We have a special.
This is a special. You didn't realise that?
There's multiple reasons why it's a special.
Well, hit me with them.
Well, what I was going to say, the special I was going with is it's the PhD special.
I was going more alien monster.
Right.
Aliens and monsters.
Yeah. So, yeah, specials. We started the week with Species 3.
Das tres.
Then...
Trois.
we watched
Drei.
Then we watched Species 4, The Awakening.
I'm awake.
We didn't even plan that. Yeah. And we rounded it off with... Oh, wait, no.
No.
With The Relic.
The Relic. Yeah, it's the 1997 The Relic, directed by the one and only Peter Hyams. So, what is your order, seeing as you've leveled them all decent?
Yes. Well, very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
So, not totally obvious, but I think I've decided that my third place goes to Species 4.
The Awakening.
Mm-hmm. Second place, I'm awarding to The Relic. Which means that Species 3 gets the gold.
While you're not wrong, I do have it in a slightly different order. Bottom place, Species The Awakening. Second place, Species 3. And top, The Relic. Yes. So let's get on with the third pick then.
Yeah.
Which, I must say, it only came about because, I'm sure we all know and love Species, the first one. The second one didn't quite live up to expectations.
I don't even remember the second one, really.
How can I remember it? Because I keep putting it on, and I was like, we haven't seen this. And you keep saying to me, yes, we have. I was like, I don't remember this. And you're like, no, we have seen this. And so we end up watching it twice with me telling Karen, no, we haven't seen this, when in fact we had seen it multiple times. That's how forgettable it is. So it's taken me up until now to even bother with Species 3, which is a straight-to-TV movie. And yeah, that we followed that with this, Species The Awakening, but it was all down to Species 3 that we even got to Species The Awakening.
I don't really... Yeah, it's going to be weird reviewing them in reverse, but hey.
Well, once you've got into TV movie territory... doesn't really matter, does it? So Species The Awakening. You said everything was decent, so I assume you like this then, even though you put it bottom.
Yeah. I didn't mind this one. I'd watch it.
Again?
Yeah, I'd watch it again. I'd probably need a bit of a break. But, so in this one, we still have the super hot female alien...
Well, you better have.
That's kind of
that's what
the
we come
major
for.
selling point
Exactly.
of this franchise, isn't it? And in this one, we end up going with a professor who's raised her as a child, and then when she's grown up, they go to Mexico to find a guy that he used to work with, who I believe the two of them work together to
Are you
produce her.
just running through the review race yourself? Because this is going to end pretty soon.
Well, feel free to jump in at any point.
Species the Awakening. Well, if I can finally, shut you down. We open, of course, with the beauty of the piece, Miranda. She's the new Syl. She's the new Natasha Henstridge for this one. And she's teaching a class. But concentration levels are on the floor. They are absolutely on the floor. The camera goes to the guys in the front row in this class. They're all just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh, this is going to be on the midterm.
Well, she looks like she's put as much effort into her looks as Elle Woods.
It's kind of, it's not fair to be having such a smoking hot teacher when you're trying to learn. Because what are you going to learn except for, I like smoking hot women / aliens?
Well, at least you'll turn up to class, right?
I guess, yeah, there is 100% attendance rate. There wasn't one empty seat in that classroom. So as you mentioned while you were summarising, she is being raised by another guy who he's also a doctor, right? Yeah, he's Dr. Ben Cross, the English thespian Ben Cross. I think his name's Tom, is in the movie.
And he works in the archaeology department, I believe.
And Ben Cross also played Mr. Rabbit in the fantastic Banshee TV show. I doubt you remember him by name.
No.
But you know Banshee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic Banshee. So he's now the new Ben Kingsley, because Ben Kingsley was the original English thespian in Species. And now we've got, Ben Cross. And he's been raising Miranda. Mm-hmm. And they're living together. But one night she goes missing.
Yeah.
And a runner comes across her naked on the floor. And she ends up being taken to hospital.
Okay, we already have a flaw here for me that I'm a bit confused about, because we know by this point in the series, in the franchise, how brief the alien childhood is. Yes. Right? And, he says at one point as well, I think it's in this one anyway, I forgot how fast you grow up, kind of thing. But
2 days. But
he's also saying that he's changed his field and all of this stuff has transpired since she was created. His ex-colleague has moved off to Mexico and is living a life
the problem
there
with people of your intellect and your concentration levels watching, the fourth movie in the Species franchises, they're not expecting,
anyone to pay attention?
Exactly. They're not expecting you to pay attention and write these things down, remember these things.
I didn't write anything down, it's all up here.
Yeah, I said also to remember these things. It's like you're not listening.
Oh, I did listen, I'm just saying. Just so that everyone out there knows.
So you already have a problem with plot holes in this in terms of how...
Basically straight away.
How long it's taking her to grow up or not, how long it hasn't taken her to grow up and vice versa. Yeah, well, I like to skip over that because I'm like the guys in the classroom and I'm just looking at her. So, she's been taken to hospital. They're x-raying her. And we see in the X-ray the giant killer tongue, and she starts going she gets a bit liberal with the tongue in the hospital, doesn't she? She's going through people's eyes.
Yeah, she goes on a spree.
Yeah, taking people out. Ben Cross though turns up at the hospital just as she's kind of like wiped out herself because she's suffering, she's ill, and
she's turned human again.
She's turning human again, so she needs she's getting veiny all the time. So Ben Cross comes and rescues her, puts her in the car. And it's like, we've got to get out of here. You just killed a bunch of people in the hospital. They're taking x-rays of you.
She has no recollection
of your giant tongue. And he starts saying, we're going to Mexico. Because, of course, when the shit hits the fan...
Fiesta!
You only go to one place, and that is Mexico. Well, unless you're in Europe, and then you go to the Costa del Sol, a.k.a. the Costa del Crime. We have one, too. So Costa del Sol is our Mexico.
Yeah, but they're not actually going to Mexico just to run away. They're going to Mexico because...
I'm aware of that. I'm not done yet.
He's realised that there's something wrong with her. She keeps getting veiny and stuff. And he, up until this point, by the way, hasn't told her that there's anything different about her. So she's quite happily lived her life thinking that she's just a regular human. She thinks he's her uncle. Yeah.
Uncle Tom.
So he's like, well, on the way to Mexico, let me just fill you in a little bit. You're actually part alien. Me and a mate of mine manufactured you. Forbes, right? Mm-hmm. We made you in a lab.
Yeah, Ben Cross used to be Forbes' professor. And like you say, they both, so Forbes and Ben Cross made Miranda in the lab, but then Ben Cross ended up taking Miranda because Forbes is too crazy, had these crazy ideas, and he essentially saved Miranda from, you know, the evil, maniacal, crazy clutches of Forbes.
Yeah.
This is one of my problems with the movie. This is one of, not a problem, but this is why it's bottom for me. Is, as you know, we're in the fourth one here. This is number 4. A lot of time was spent rehashing what Species is generally about. Like, we know we don't need to see Ben Cross talking to Miranda about what she is, yada yada yada. We've already had this in previous movies.
Yeah, it felt like essentially the same movie as number 3, but just not quite as good.
When you're at number 4, even number 3, considering what the first one was, all you want to need to see is more sleaze, more schlock, more naked. That's what people are coming for. So I've written too much time spent with Cross explaining to Miranda what the deal is with her. So, you know, yeah, give us action, give us sleaze. We don't need to know about... we know that they can insta-learn. We know that they can insta-learn. So they get to Mexico.
Yeah.
They finally get to Mexico, and they check into a hotel. Ben Cross says that he's looking for Forbes, and a Texan overhears him. Yeah.
And very, very helpfully is like, well, I know where you can find him.
He doesn't yet. First Cross goes out walking around the streets of Mexico in the daytime, and this is where the first really cool thing happens beyond the, you know, killer
the
tongue.
sexy nun.
The nun Species.
Yeah.
Looked really cool.
She did look really cool. I like what they did in this one, actually, with the eyes. So when we first see the nun, we know she's an alien because they've given her just ridiculously bright, like, bluish.
Let me just stop. Would you like to endorse what beverage you're partaking in?
Well, I also have Jack Daniels.
You've stolen my Jack Daniels apple. You know,
but I'm having it with a mango apple juice.
Yeah, you've diluted it. You as a whiskey hater have now found, it's not quite whiskey, it's more of a liqueur, but you've now found a whiskey type drink that you actually enjoy. So kudos on that. Let's crack on. So yeah, the Species nun, great stuff, and she's like leaping from building to building. She's chasing after Ben Cross. She's a hot nun. She's a hot alien nun, and
she's clearly trying to kill him.
So then we go back, and
but he escapes.
Ben Cross bumps into the Texan, and he's larger than life, isn't he? You know, he's like, "Come on, I'm buying."
On all Texans.
Well, I don't know. Is that just a generalization of I'm sure there are some sad Texans. You know, I'm not buying. I haven't got any money. I'm thinking maybe Corpus Christi. Been watching Cops a lot recently, and in Corpus Christi in Texas, it seems like there's not a lot of time for being larger than life in Corpus Christi because everyone's just getting tased. So anyway, this larger than life Texan is like, "Hey, I can show you how to get to Forbes."
Yeah.
And he tells him where to go and find Forbes, because we need to find Forbes to save the ailing Miranda.
Well, it doesn't really tell him where to go. It tells him how to be led to him, which is to find a specific taxi at a certain time in Mexico City or wherever they are. And lo and behold, of course, he gets in the cab, gets to some random like warehouse district, and before he knows it, the cabbie is alien and is also trying to kill him.
This cabbie, this version of the Species, has a xenomorph type mouth, as in where a mouth comes out of his mouth. It's a giant mouth. It's not one of those tiny mouths that a xenomorph has. This is like the reverse. So the big mouth. That was quite
cool, actually, I thought.
It was very cool. And what was also very cool about that is when the Texan was telling Ben Cross about how to get to Forbes, and he was looking at the taxi and all this kind of stuff, all the cinematography, all the lighting, the neon lights and stuff like this, the smoke, the vapor, all beautiful to look at. Really cool to look at, considering this is the fourth low budget straight-to-TV movie. Yeah, looked incredible. So the cab driver has a mouth like a xenomorph. Ends up getting, obviously Ben Cross is being attacked by this xenomorph type species. He ends up he ends up in the cab, driving it. He drives it in to the cabby
and then lights him on fire.
But
this is the thing. I'm like, these aliens are like insane. You know, they can jump straight up like 10 floors or something, like Superman. And yet he's managed to get away from the nun, and now off the cabbie one. The cabbie one also couldn't walk properly. I don't know if that was supposed to mean something.
Well, I think if people are asking, you know, how was their how have we got Miranda? How have we got a nun species? How have we got a cab driving species? Because Forbes is constantly doing experiments.
Yeah, Forbes is
on people.
making a living.
So he's making, exactly, yeah.
Resurrecting people's pets or family members, but obviously they're not the lost people or animals. They just look like them. They're part alien.
It's very Pet Cemetery.
And we do see one bit where a client comes to pick up her dog, and that bit's quite funny. She's like, "Oh, I found you, you're back," and he's like, "Well, don't forget, she's half alien actually," and like wanders off with it.
Yeah, so obviously Ben Cross is not happy that he's been set up by the Texan. So he goes and knocks on the Texan's motel door, and there is Sleazy in his vest, drinking what could well be Jack Daniel's crisp apple. And he pulls out his gun, and he's about to, he's like, "You don't mess with me, boy." But then Miranda shows up. She takes down the Texan, gets the info, and finally they are on their way to go and see Forbes. They get to Forbes. They walk into his laboratory, and all you can hear is like, "Oh yeah, ride me, baby, yeah." Because it turns out that Forbes is, a devil-may-care Aussie who's being ridden by the nun species. Azura, her name turns out to be. And yeah, she is quite something to look at.
She was a very confusing character in this to me. I didn't really know where her loyalties lay throughout it. It's very confusing.
With herself, with her species.
Well, why is she sleeping with the Aussie?
Well, if you have paid attention from, number one through, they're very sexual beings.
Not attracted to humans.
But he's made her. So he can program her in any way he wants, really, can't he? So she's programmed to ride.
But we also still don't really know why she and the cabbie tried to kill Ben, do we? Because obviously Aussie Forbes is like, "Well, I had nothing to do with that." And I believe him.
You believe anything that comes out of Forbes' mouth?
Not anything, but I believe that.
No, well, their species are going to try and kill you. That's what they do. It's like if you had a xenomorph cab driver, I wouldn't trust that. It's going to try and kill you. You can't reason with a xenomorph. You can't reason with half-breed species. Okay? So now Miranda, Ben Cross is there, and he's explained to Forbes that Miranda is sick, but Forbes is more concerned with, wowza, she's a beauty.
Damn.
Yeah, and he does inspect her, and he informs Ben Cross that she is possibly at the end of her lifespan.
She's dying.
So they need to go and get a female body replacement to inject her with whatever it is.
That was it as well. So Ben, every time that she gets like a bit veiny,
which happens a lot.
He's been injecting her with human hormones.
Yeah,
which apparently
I've written down. There's a lot of vein injection. It's
supposed to keep the alien parts subdued.
We get it. We get it on the first one.
And we find out as well, he brought her just in time apparently, because she's supposed to die within 24 hours.
And while he's explaining all this, Ben Cross and Forbes, they go for a little pool sesh, and he's explaining pretty loud-mouthed with Azura, the species nun sitting there, that he doesn't really care for Azura, and if she ends when her lifespan ends, he'll just make another one to ride him.
Blonde with a tan and green eyes.
Yeah. So now we're at church. Ben Cross and Miranda go to church, and Miranda says that she wants to take responsibility for the lives that she took at the hospital. So this is not just your general species alien. She's
very human.
This is one that, who's morally conscious. She's got heart. Personally, I don't like to see that. Yeah.
She's also supposed to be some sort of purer species than the ones that Forbes is creating. I'm not really entirely sure, but she's different to Azura.
After this nice church scene, we're then back at the lab, and Forbes is like, "Well, everyone around here is immoral, or a cheat, or a rapist, or a murderer. If you go and take someone, you'll be doing us all a favour." So he kind of convinces Ben Cross to go out onto the streets of Mexico again and go and find a body for Miranda.
Because both Miranda and Ben are obviously against the idea of taking someone else's
she's
life.
A morally conscious
she's very morally
species.
Conscious.
Unlike Syl.
She's gotten to the point where she's essentially passed out on, death's door, and so Ben thinks, well, she's like a daughter to me. I need to save her. So he goes out, and we see him on the town in Mexico.
Did you know Ben Cross? Because you're just calling him Ben.
No.
Yeah. His character's name is Tom.
Oh, okay.
Ben Cross. So Ben Cross goes out.
Ben.
And once again, we get the beautiful cinematography. All these neon lights everywhere. I loved it. He goes into a club, and instantly, a young little Mexicana takes an interest in him. They start to dance, and very quickly, she tries to seduce him, takes him around the back of the club, and he thinks he's going to get lucky. He's like thinking, oh, I've come here to come get someone's body, but if you're gonna satisfy me while you're here, I guess I'll take that. But bam! She pulls out a gun. She's gonna rob him, because this is Mexico. Don't forget, this is Mexico.
Well, she was also way out of his league, so it was pretty obvious that was coming.
But you could have had the thought that maybe she's looking for a sugar daddy, so maybe that's why she was coming on to him. But no, she pulls out the gun.
Fear not, everyone. Azura is there.
We also, I've missed out another piece of heart when before Ben Cross goes out into the town to go and find a willing body. He's talking to Miranda, and Miranda's like, "Don't you miss your true scientific calling?" And he's like, "You are my true scientific calling." It has heart. I was almost shed a tear there. Yeah. So she keeps getting veiny, keep getting injected, veiny, injected, veiny, injected. Yeah, but it happens again. Happens again. And so he spotted this supposedly drunkard, and the nun
comes and they get her. Yeah. They take this woman away to the lab
because she deserves it. And this is after watching Species 3, which I won't go into right now, obviously. But this is the first time when we get real, practical effects, because they take her back to the lab, and there's this giant alien pod thing which they're in while they're regenerating Miranda.
It's like a uterus, but without the body around it.
Yeah, so giant see-through uterus.
One in each.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they come out. She comes out of the pod naked, gooey, and renewed. But she's changed. She throws Forbes through the glass. Ben Cross has to go and calm her down.
She comes on to him.
Well, before she comes on to him, she says, "I want to fuck Azura." And Ben Cross is like, "This is not my Miranda." And also she says, "Maybe I'll fuck you too." And he's like, "I'm your uncle. Yeah. So she is not the same anymore. It's that nasty little Aussie Forbes. And his harebrained schemes.
Unless, the hormones from this other girl were just so tainted by her naughtiness.
Well, she was putting out guns on people willy-nilly. So, then we kind of like Ben Cross tries to then get Miranda back to the normal self. He gives a Latin book, and she's like, "Oh, I never thought I'd read Latin again." Just throws it away. She's not interested in Latin anymore. She's not interested in the arts, in the classics. Yeah, she's just interested in people's naughty bits. So she's now different, and she's no longer the righteous Miranda that we knew. She's off out to go and try and copulate. Yeah, she wants to bone, and Cross obviously he refuses because he feels like her uncle. Yeah. And that does bring up the thing you said about how long has he been raising her then? Because if it was the true species lifespan of 2 days before they're an adult, then he shouldn't feel too bad about it, really, should he? Hasn't raised anything, just been around something for 2 days. Yeah?
Sure, let's go with that.
So when they're out, we then get a very, very Terminator moment when Miranda runs into some girls and she's like, "I want your dress." And it's very, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle." They've definitely taken that from Terminator.
Yeah, because this chica pulls out her knife and she's like, "You want my dress? You're going to have to come get it." And then, Miranda's eyes do that weird alien colour change thing. And she's like, "Okay." Yes. And then we see her wearing the dress.
She gets the dress, and now she's ready for the club, because now she's got the dress. She walks into the club, and she meets tongue-flapping, booty-shaking man.
Whoa, don't break the set.
So he's on one. He's seen this fine young thing come in.
Well, don't you know that's how women get attracted to men? I'm
going to show her my tongue-flapping skills.
Yeah.
Well, I have an extremely large tongue, so I know that's how Other ladies like it. So kudos to him for showing it off.
That's enough apple whiskey for you, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the guy from Unknown Visitor. What's that movie called? The Doorbell that we watched. He can only handle one half a beer. Yeah, so he gets booty shaking, tum flicking man, and while this is happening, at the same time, Forbes has come out to find Miranda because she's not supposed to be out by herself, and he's like driving by in his truck, and he rolls down the window.
Well, he's trying to kill her.
He rolls down the street. No, he decides we either have to kill her or bring her back. You've got two options. So he wants to bring her back or kill her. He rolls down his window in his truck, and he's like, "Where is it? Where is it?" And he's like, "¿Qué? The monster. ¿Dónde está?" You know, he's really chewing the scenery. Every scene, every chance that he gets. So I'm a fan of Forbes.
Yeah.
The crazy doctor.
It was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas in this film, I don't think there was any point that made me laugh out loud, which there was in the third one. But it was still... It wasn't like a terrible attempt at humour. It was just a bit more mellow.
Well, I wouldn't call mellow.
Okay, but mellow in terms of the reaction you get.
Have you ever met a mellow Aussie? No. So now Miranda decided to walk around with no clothes on in kind of like the back streets, and she has veiny breasts. Do you notice the veiny breasts that they have? I was like, well, where's this come from now?
It was like the nipples were like alien armoured or something.
So Forbes finds Miranda. And of course, she tells him, "I know that you've wanted me since the first time you saw me." He's just a puny man with a puny male mind. So of course he succumbs to her veiny boobies. She has her way with him. Yeah. And then he gets the tongue treatment. Well, not in the good way.
As soon as she's got what she wants from him, he's gone.
Yeah. Then Ben Cross comes... actually, while this has been going on, Ben Cross has been in the church again, and the nun species is there, and she gets crushed by a giant cross. And
so she's trying to kill him again. Mm-hmm. And so he manages to see he bests one again. This man is like Superman.
Yeah. Also, when Forbes has been seduced by Miranda, he made a concoction. He's come up with this concoction to kind of like sedate her. Mm-hmm. But she's privy to that. She knows. So she thwarts his attempt at sedation. And when she has her way with him, Ben Cross then ends up in the same place, finds him on this kind of stone where he's been ridden by Miranda, and she's been good enough to pull his pants back up. So
I know, that is so funny.
So he's not naked anymore. He's got his boxers on.
Somehow,
so no chance of
I
wiener.
didn't feel like that's what an alien would do, when she's discarded her used condom of a man.
Yeah. So she is now pregnant through Forbes. Mm-hmm. And so we're back to the lab. And all of a sudden, because she's pregnant, her morality is back. She's like, "Oh, I need to be ended. I need to be ended." And turns out, of course, the nun species has also regenerated. So she hasn't been killed by this giant cross, which has crushed her. She's come back to life. She's regenerated. And now this is when they reveal their true selves, and we get the two lady species in their true being fighting each other.
Yeah.
Tongues and all. Massive tails, things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to think why.
So we get like
I don't remember
we
why.
get because she wants to end herself, and the nun wants to carry on the species. That's why, because the whole point of the species is to carry on the species. So nun hears that Miranda wants to end herself with her new offspring. Mm-hmm. Nun's not going to have that. So this is why they start to fight, and as they're fighting, I've written down. So we do get people in suits. Like people actually dressed as the species, but we also get it's mixed in with some CGI, and the CGI is way better than any of the CGI that I've seen in more modern times. It's just so much better, because for one thing, they're kind of using it in like darker scenes. It's not crazy overly lit, and they're also not overdoing the CGI where they're like covering everything in CGI. It's just like put in here and there. You can still tell, obviously, but it's still so much better than anything people try today with CGI. So this fight scene. It's all good with that. And so Miranda and Nun face off. The nun ends up killing Miranda. We don't know who's been off, because they're both species.
Form,
they're both in species form. Yeah. But then when it turns out that it is the nun that has survived, I wasn't sure it was going to go there. I thought it was going to like take another turn, but in terms of no, Ben Cross just blows her away. Yeah, blows her away. And as Miranda's dying on the floor, she's like back to her regular self. She's like, "Thanks for giving me life." So again, we're at the heartfelt core of the Species franchise. Yeah. And then he's like, "Miranda, you were right. You were always right." Then he torches the laboratory, and we are Finn.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So what did you learn from Species the Awakening?
That it gets a bit samey when you copy the previous movie and do it worse.
What I've learned is all Mexican women are not to be trusted because they're armed and dangerous. That's been made clear to me. So that's number 4. Let's go now. Species 3, we're going in reverse order. Species 3, the movie that kicked off the week. I put it on randomly. Didn't like Species 2, loved Species 1. Give number 3 a chance, and I was more than pleasantly surprised. This is your number 1.
Turns out, for once, there's a movie in the horror genre that I had seen before and you hadn't.
Sci-fi horror. Yeah, well, when the hell have you seen this?
Well,
oh yeah, is this because of your MGM collection?
Yeah, I had, through my dad working with the company, I had many, many, many MGM movies, and so I gave the Alien movies a go, and I guess maybe the 4th one hadn't come out. Why do I keep saying Alien? Species.
What a faux pas.
And I guess the 4th one hadn't come out because I'm pretty sure I hadn't seen that one. But yeah, I definitely seen the 3rd one. And I remembered it straight away. So the movie opens.
So you decide to watch a good MGM movie out of all the collection that you had instead of like a Colour Purple or whatever.
I do remember really enjoying the first Alien movie.
Alien?
Okay, do you know what, guys? I'm out.
You are out. I'm going to take this now. Species 3, starring Robert. I think we're going to take this away from you. Starring Robert Nepper, who you all know best from Twin Peaks, the limited series event. He plays one of the gangsters alongside Jim Belushi, who they take a liking to Dale Cooper. They run the casino.
Right.
Yeah, he's in that. And he plays a guy called Dr. Abbott. And Dr. Abbott, he wants to win the Nobel Prize by making a perfect form of DNA. You seem confused.
Yeah, I feel like, well, what part of them are we not starting with the beginning of the film?
That was just the general what Dr. Abbott is all about. So yeah, the beginning of the film kind of picks off where number 2 ends, and we've got a special appearance in number 3 by Natasha Henstridge, who is certainly missed in Species 3 and Species 4. You can't compare to Natasha Henstridge as the original Sil/Eve. So in the beginning of Species 3, we're in the back of the ambulance, and it's been driven by Dr. Abbott, Robert Nepper, and his mate, his army mate, so-called. It seems like he's in the army anyway. And in the back of this van, Eve, Natasha Henstridge, is, she's ill, but she's also pregnant.
Well, they think she's dead.
Yeah, well, she's presumed dead, but she's there. She's still alive, and she's pregnant. And there's a little half-breed kid, Species half-breed, in the back with her. He ends up putting his darty tongue around her neck, finally kills her, but at the same time, she's also just given birth to what Dr. Abbott will name Sarah, and Dr. Abbott takes the kid back to where he's living.
Yeah, so again, he's a professor at a university, and he's teaching, genetics or something along those lines, and our other main...
Don't jump in if you don't know, something along those lines.
Well, it's not like it's important.
It's very important because he is very much into disease and DNA and genetics, and he says that human nature, humankind shouldn't be ending things like smallpox. It should just let it essentially run amok, because who are we to say what you should end and what you should let run free out there?
Yeah, well, as I was going to say, I mean, you complain that I'm taking over, but I've barely got a word in edgewise.
I need to take over, because you keep calling it Alien for one thing.
So, the other main character in this is a student in his class, Dean, and Dean turns up late, naughty Dean, to this, thing about smallpox should be left alone kind of thing. And he has a little confrontation about that, you know. And the next thing you know, he's being called a speciesist. What, I mean, I don't know if I could get past someone calling me that. That would really hit hard.
Well, I guess if you're any kind of is, just put "is" on the end of anything, and you know you should be offended.
How
apparently.
dare you think that smallpox shouldn't exist?
Yeah, so as I was saying, Dr. Abbott Robert Nepper, he wants to win the Nobel Prize by developing perfect DNA from Sarah's eggs. So at his house, he has Sarah, the Eve/Sil/Natasha Henstrich's offspring.
Who's still a kid at the beginning.
Still a kid at the beginning, but she, again, the problem we have with number 4, she grows up within a couple of days, and she's walking around the house naked, as you would expect.
We have the nice hark back to the first film as well, where in the house you see the sort of weird gooey egg pod thing up in the corner of one of the rooms.
You just ruined it. So what happens is at the beginning of the movie, we've seen this little half-breed kid that is in the back of the ambulance/truck with Natasha Henstridge.
The boy.
Yeah, the half-breed boy. And while Robert Nepper's been teaching his class, one night he's in his office, and all of a sudden, the half-breed kid is now a fully grown adult, but the half-breeds are sick, they're ill, they're not going to last long. And it was at this point, so it's quite early on, where I was fully in with this movie, because the half-breed comes in, he sits in the chair. First of all, in one of our thoughts of the week, you brought up recently the sound in movies. And when he was doing his... I was like sitting there watching the movie, I was getting short of breath just listening to him breathe. It was very effective. So he's come in and he's all bloated, and he has his kind of open sores on his face. And as he's getting worse and worse, he's just saying to Dr. Abbott, you know, you need to help me. More of us half-breeds are going to come if you don't help. And kind of Dr. Abbott's kind of intrigued. Obviously, he just kind of like wastes time by asking questions. All of a sudden, all the sores...
Disgusting.
They start to pus. Like lava discharging pus. It's so great. His ear falls off. He is in bad shape. He's in really bad shape. And you know, once Robert Nepper, Dr. Abbott sees this, he sees all the pus coming out, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna you know, just stay there. I will start to help, but before we can help, all of these, you know, tentacles. Again, great sound, just burst out of his body, and for the most part they're dormant, but there's always one that's like still partly alive.
That bit was just sounds.
It was so epic,
disgusting.
My mind was blown at the practical effects of that. It was incredible. While this happens, Dr. Abbott spots Dean, and he brings Dean in, and he shows Dean this half-breed. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, our cat's dreaming and she's making really funny sounds.
Oh, is that what that sound is? So he brings Dean, his student, in, and he shows him the half-breed, explains what's going on, and it says to him that more of them are going to come for him, and, you know, will you help me in my research? I'm going to show you everything, yada, yada, yada.
Because they're basically saying they need to use that half-breed guy along with Sarah and her eggs to do something.
Yeah, to create the perfect DNA, which is how he's going to win the Nobel Prize. And the reason that Dean agrees, because he says, okay, I'll agree to help you if I get equal credit. So after we've just seen this, you know, this epic practical effects piece, we are now back to Abbott's house, and he's saying, you know, pretty much she's going to be fully grown now. You know, my Sarah's going to be fully grown. They get into the house, and there's this disgusting giant pod thing in the corner of his house, like a cobweb. Like
the one that's in the train car in the first movie. Yeah,
exactly like that. And it's a thing to behold, and Sarah comes out of the thing, and it's just two epic pieces of practical effects, one after the other. And I was so excited at this point of the movie that I was like, I can't believe that I let Species 2 put me off for so long checking out Species 3. I also feel like it should be mentioned that Dean is working somewhere at some lab thing for the dean of the university. Dean
but
for Dean.
He's like being told that he's going to be like let go, and so he's going to lose his scholarship and all of this sort of thing. So I think that was another
Abbott
reason
can help him.
why he's so keen on
Yeah.
on doing this project with the other teacher.
So really after this, unfortunately, there weren't any other kind of epic practical effects set pieces, but the two that we had was so good that we got to mention it was Harlow FX did this work. So they are really are kings of their craft. It was great stuff. Actually, no, sorry, there was one other piece. But do you want to say anything first before I get to it?
Well, I was going to say it's not a special effect at all, but it's an incredible body. We get her, Sarah.
Slamming Bard.
We get Sarah in the house alone. The other two, you know, Dean and what's the main guy called?
Oh, Robert Nepper, the Dr. Abbott.
Dr. Abbott and Dean are not there, so she's alone. But
The Dean
the
comes.
Dean
The sleazy Dean.
is trying to like figure out what all the like money is going on, and he sees, you know, oh, I think there's a lab in the cellar, and he goes into the house, and what does he see? He sees a stark naked, gorgeous Sarah,
Freshly out of the pod.
and of course she's an alien, and she has no reservations about being naked. So when he's at first like, oh, I'm so sorry, and she's like, what's wrong? And seems to entice him, and he's like, well, why not? You know, I mean, what man would say no?
She is and much like Miranda in the fourth, you know, everyone that's cast as the Syl type in Species is obviously, you know, a phenomenal classic beauty. But Natasha Henstridge is still just... There's something about Natasha Henstridge. She's just so
Miranda and Sarah,
unbelievably
though,
beautiful.
I thought, I'm not talking about looks now, but I thought performance-wise, I really liked what Sarah did.
Yeah.
More so than Miranda. There was nothing
Yeah.
wrong with what Miranda did, but I really liked
Sarah was good.
Sarah's.
Yeah, she really was. Yeah, like you say, Miranda in Species Awakening was also absolutely fine for what it was. And Azura, the nun one. But yeah, there is something about Sarah in this which was
really
a really
good,
good
yeah.
performance. Yeah.
So she seduces the Dean, and they start, you know, making out, and all of a sudden she's like,
Don't fancy this
I
anymore.
don't think so. This is like, she's like, no, his genes aren't what I'm after. So she just stops cold turkey and is like, yeah, you can go. Which he's not too happy about.
She probably could have told, you know, she could been able to tell that he wasn't the kind of gene she was looking for before kissing him, because you know he's standing there fat, bloated, and bald. You know, just take a look.
Also, seems like she has some incredible sense of smell, or you know, something along those lines.
Well, she's a species. She's an alien. Yeah, of course she does.
But anyway, she doesn't, and he is not having it, and he doesn't take it like a gentleman. And he's like, well, you know, don't start something you don't want to finish. So of course she's like, well, I guess I will finish you then.
I'm not sure if it was in this movie, Species 3 or Species The Awakening, where it would either be Miranda or Sarah, or possibly Amelia, the other species girl that arrives in this movie later on, who there's like a guy coming on to her. She says, trust me, you don't want the tongue.
Oh, no, this is Sarah.
Is it
that
Sarah?
was one of my
Right.
favourite scenes.
Okay.
So in this scene, so Sarah is, you know, going off, roaming around the world, and Dean and the professor... Dean is a bit like, oh my god, are you just going to let her roam around? Like, aren't you worried something's going to happen? And the professor's like, no, you know, it has to be her home. She has to come back when she wants to and be free. And he's very careful about telling her that as well.
Yeah.
So we get this scene where she's decided, you know, the old man wasn't for me, but I want to go out and see if I can get some strange. And so she's out in this college town in the evening.
That's it, yeah.
And she gets to this kind of like outdoor frat party, I think.
Oh, that was great.
That's exactly, I love this
when they
scene.
get to the frat party, you've got the classic, you know, you got the student halls like in the background, the premises, and you got like, I guess the football team. They're all wearing their Letterman jackets and all that, and they're all obviously taking notice of Sarah. And the first one comes up to her, she like just throws him in the air.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Like just gets
Just
rid of him.
like one arm, just like...
Yeah.
And one of the guys is like, hey, I want a girl who can do that to
Yeah.
me.
I want a
kind
girl
of
who can
thing.
kick my ass.
And it's in that scene where one of them's like, you know, hey baby,
How
how
about
about
some
it?
tongue?
And
Yeah.
she's like, trust me, you don't want the tongue. And she does it all in this beautiful deadpan, very species alien-esque kind of
Yeah.
performance.
Very American Pie, that scene. American Pie meets Species.
It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. And like I say, once you're into the third one, it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of accept this. As they drop the ball so hard in the second one, you might as well just go in a more fun way.
So
for
it
the third
wasn't.
one.
I feel like with this one as well, that in the entirety of the film, it wasn't particularly scary. Like,
No, it's not
It's
scary.
not really horror.
It's sci-fi horror,
But you
with
know,
tongue-in-cheek.
there are obviously still certain
The set pieces
deaths
are
and
fantastic.
You know, there are some more evil characters coming later on in the film and stuff. But it was very entertaining, and like I said, this scene in particular made me actually laugh out loud, which is really rare. And it's not even supposed to be comedy, so I was pleased with that.
Yeah, that's done really well. So we've got to get back just a little bit to when Sarah kills the dean of the school.
Yeah.
Dr. Abbott and the character Dean, the student, come home, and Dean and Abbott find Dean, the school dean, on the floor, like mutilated. And the student Dean wants to call the police, and Dr. Abbott's like, "What are you going to tell them, that you know an alien species has come and off this guy?
You're going to be a suspect.
You're going to be a suspect. Yada yada yada." He's got him, by the hook. And I think at this point, I'm not sure if it's the body of the school dean, or it's just someone else who I'm forgetting. But they go back to the laboratory, and Robert Nepper, Dr. Abbott, is working. He's got his full regalia on, like gloves and mask, stuff like that, and he's like pulling stuff out of an open body.
So
that was just, only reason I wanted to mention that is because, again, Harlow effects with this body, all the goo coming out of it and stuff that's pulling out of the insides, just so cool.
No, so what's happened is the dean, they've taken his keys to this lab where Dean was working.
Dean.
And they've wrapped him up and they've dumped him in like a lake or something.
Oh yeah, I love the little lake scenes in
And
this. Yeah.
the thing that you're talking about is the half-breed with who died in his office.
Right, so that's what they're working on.
They chopped him up in the office. We don't see that bit, but they take him in black bin bags in Dean's car and bring him to the lab at the professor's house. And Dean has a roommate, by the way.
Yeah, Hastings.
Who does come into it more later, but Dean is late. Again. So by the time he turns up to the lab, the professor is already, cracking open the chest.
Yeah, he's elbows deep into this body. Yeah.
And you notice, he had like a visor thing, obviously. And he's got like the gloves on, but he's covered in goo and blood and stuff. And he's just like with his visor. And I was like, ugh. Like, that is so gross.
It was so satisfying to watch all of the practical effects pieces
The
in
gooey, slobbery sound effects throughout the whole thing were...
Yeah, the sound
disgusting.
in particular, and I keep saying the practical effects, but they it can't be overstated enough. The three is you get a hat trick. Yeah, you get a hat trick. You get the pod, you get him working on the body, and you get the half-breed pussing, and all three of them are for me were the highlights of the movie.
And
It's
what's
the
really
reason I
interesting
enjoyed it
is
so
actually
much.
in the final film that we're going to discuss today, The Relic, that was special effects by Stan Winston, who's obviously, I mean...
a god.
Yeah, in the industry. And I wouldn't have said that there was really any difference in quality between those two.
They're very different. The Species 3 is much more like schlocky over the top, and they kind of take it a little bit more seriously in kind of the records. A very different kind of they're very different kind of practical effects, aren't they? This is messy, whereas one is just a monster's kind of roaming around. But anyway, we'll get back to Species 3. So after he starts, after he's working on the dead body of the half-breed, it's not long after this, I remember, that Robert Nepper, aka Dr. Abbott, is off in the movie.
I thought that comes relatively late in the film, but...
Not late enough for me. Because the problem... we'll say what you think is next then, and then I'll go back to my point later.
Well, first of all, it's important to know, I think, that Sarah hasn't gotten lucky even at this... this party.
She's very picky.
And she's noticed by some, kind citizen lady sitting in the rain or something on a bench. And, the lady's like, oh, poor girl, let me take you home. And again, a little funny comedy moment. turns out this lady is big into conspiracy theories,
Aliens,
and
yeah, UFOs.
and she's got like the little dangly things in her car.
She says she's going to a convention, doesn't she? She's going to a whole UFO convention, yeah.
And on the way dropping Sarah off, Sarah suddenly is like, stop here, you know, pull over. And they stop by a train track. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is when we first notice that Sarah's got some heightened sense of smell or something. And as the train is going past, we are shown a passenger on the train who clearly...
A male passenger.
...has some sort of alien DNA.
He's also half-breed, yeah.
Sarah's attracted to him and he seems to notice that she's there as well. So Sarah gets out of this woman's car and is chasing the train that's going at full speed. The woman's like, what are you doing? And Sarah falls over and her arm gets taken off completely by the wheels of the train. And at first the woman is like, oh, you know, this poor girl, like she's on death's door, surely. And then next thing you see, Sarah's arm obviously just
regenerating,
grow back, which I also thought they did really well.
It did look good. Yeah, again, we're talking about CGI here in a TV movie from 2004, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. Still better than all CGI today. Yeah. And again, it's not like the kind of thing where you can't tell that it's not CGI kind of thing, but it's just more subtle and just done with much more class.
And again, I love this bit because this woman, she runs away in pure terror, of course, but the irony of it is that she's, you know, an alien conspiracy theorist going to these conventions and stuff, and as soon as she sees Sarah regenerating, she's just like...
Yeah, she's out of here. She's gone. I said to you at that point, well, at least she's got a tale to tell at the convention now, you know. But her one actually be true. I was going to say, when her arm regenerates, I got a slight callback to The Faculty. And towards the end of the movie, you know, we're in the final act. And, you know, the timid, hey, I'm the new schoolgirl who turns out to be the alien in Faculty. There's a bit where she reveals herself to be the alien and she comes out of her, like, human body and these two giant like tentacle arms come out, and that was 98, so that was been 6 years prior, but another great example again of CGI which just blows away more modern day kind of stuff. So yeah, I was happy to be reminded of The Faculty. So another reason that I was at this point just so into this film.
So another thing that happens before the professor is offed as well is Dean is obviously
talk about regeneration. My crisp Jack Daniel's apple has also regenerated. The magic of film. Yeah.
So Dean, obviously, even though the professor has told him, like, oh, you know, she's not attracted to humans and it will never work out, so don't get attached. I mean, Sarah's smoking hot, so he's kind of falling for her. And he's also trying to just be, I guess, a nice guy. Like, he tries to teach her how to play chess, but of course she's got her alien-esque abilities. As soon as she picks up the manual, she knows all the rules and smashes him straight away.
Yeah, he's in checkmate mode within like 3 moves. Yeah. Is that possible in chess within three or 4 moves?
I guess so.
So you're saying that this is like a realistic portrayal of chess, that you can get there within 3 or 4 moves if you make the wrong moves as the opponent?
I think if you're brilliant and your opponent's shit, you probably can.
But Dean's not supposed to be total shit though, is he? Because he's a student in this quite brainy.
And by this point in the film, have we not also seen? You mentioned the name of Dean's roommate,
Hastings.
He's
been in the movie a lot. We just haven't mentioned him yet.
Yeah. So Hastings is, you know, like most college boys, a bit of a horn dog. And at some point in the film, everyone at university around the country, it seems, has gotten some email from a hot negligee-clad lady saying
Amelia
that she's looking for some fun times if you can send her certain genetic, biological details, which, you know, for me was gobbledygook. But it turns out Hastings has found Dean's notebook and sent her some stuff that she likes the look of. So she enters the movie.
What I've written is, you know, Amelia on the net with Hastings, Fanny getting everyone in trouble again. That's what I took from, because he's obviously intrigued just by the way she looks rather than what she's asked for, because he even says himself, he's like, what she's asking me is kind of like a load of rubbish, but look look. So he stays in contact with her.
Yeah.
Of course, she
Even
shows
though
up.
Dean is like, don't
Bother, mate.
Like Dean knows something's up.
The thing is, if Amelia does email you with a photo, you're replying. You're always replying. So I can't blame Hastings.
And the first time
Do you blame Hastings?
Well, I don't fully understand
you could be a thirst
because
trap.
I'm not.
If you emailed me, if it was 2004 and we were on like MySpace, whatever, I'd be like, hell yeah.
I mean, I've learned to understand that this is what a lot of men are like, but no, it doesn't really compute. But anyway, the first time that we see Amelia, bit of ominous thunder.
Thunder
there.
and lightning.
First time we see Amelia, she rolls up to a gas station in a very nice car.
In her Ferrari.
Ferrari, that's it. See, I'm not a car person, so I don't know.
So we're talking about Species 3 TV movie, but they got the budget for a Ferrari, and I do think at this point, who so the thing is, I was so blown away by the special effects and stuff that's what really this movie's all about for me. So in terms of like story and when this happens here, I'm kind of like a little bit not lost, but I just wasn't paying so much attention.
I know who
so
kills
before Amelia comes in, he's gone, right?
Okay, so
or not long after she comes in.
That was it. So we mentioned before when she gets
it's the
her
train
arm,
guy, isn't it? Yeah.
When Sarah's arm is chopped off by the train,
mm-hmm.
that guy obviously comes back to town.
No, Sarah tracks him down first, and she's going to mate with him in a motel. Mm-hmm. But as they're about to get down to it, Sarah's again is like, "No, you're sick, and I can't mate with you." So she essentially leaves him.
And he says, "Don't turn your back on us. Like we need you.
We need you as the half breeds to save our." Our species.
But Sarah's not having any of it, so she goes back home.
So they're back in the lab, and Dr. Abbott is there, Dean is there, obviously Sarah's there, and all of a sudden a species comes out of nowhere, and it's him, the train guy. They have a fight.
In his alien form,
yeah. And in alien form, he puts his tongue or his tail through Dr. Abbott.
So he comes in, Dr. Abbott pulls Dean out of the lab to leave the two aliens to fight it out, and turns on some like chloride gas or something that will kill them. To which Dean is like, "Oh well, don't we need her?
We can't
for the
kill
eggs?"
Sarah, yeah.
And the professor goes, "Oh, don't worry, I've got her eggs in this coffee thermos."
Yep, very scientific. Yeah. I wonder if you had it hot or cold.
And but we know by this point, obviously, that Dean has kind of got a soft spot for Sarah, and at one point, when Sarah's kind of been overpowered by the other alien thing, Dean is like, he's raping her. Mm-hmm. And he can't...
Ape Ray.
Yeah, and he can't stand it. So he goes in and I guess manages to like get Sarah out of there, by which point now the professor's ended up back in the lab
Dr.
as well.
Abbott.
So now it's Dr. Abbott and the other alien thing, and yeah,
he gets either like a tongue dart through, or gets a tail. Basically, gets impaled, and as he's dying, like Robert Nepper, now the actor, he's going. And for me, once Robert Nepper was gone from the movie, I felt like the movie kind of like just hit a barricade and didn't recover as well. He was the best character. He was carrying the movie. He was the best actor in it. He was the best character in it. And to get rid of him, like with still like over a third of the movie to go, I felt like after he was gone, it lost direction a little bit, and it also went on for like 15 minutes too long. So at this point, I'm so into the movie. I'm thinking this is a great movie, and I didn't know at the time when Robert Nepper was taking out the movie, Dr. Abbott was taking out the movie, that it was obviously going to take a lull. But for me, it took a lull. And that's the reason that it didn't get number one, because up to this point it would have easily got number one if it had carried on in the same vein, but it kind of it went a bit awry for me after he was out.
It is also interesting, as you're saying, like his character is a bit more diverse, because as we said in the fourth one, the professor in that is like, "Oh, you're like my daughter," and he's all moral and good in this, whereas in the third one I feel like Dr. Abbott, as we said, he was willing to let her die.
He's almost
amoral.
Got the
eggs.
Is it amoral or immoral? Yeah, he's amoral, isn't he? Yeah.
But he doesn't come across as a bad guy either. It's just it's more multifaceted.
That's to do with his performance as well. That's what I'm talking about. So when Robert Nepper, the actor, was gone, just some of the gravitas of the movie was all of a sudden after he was gone, it became clear to me that this was a TV movie. He really was elevating.
Well, then
the
you've
film.
just got Dean and all the young
And
people.
there's nothing
really.
wrong with Dean and
No.
everybody else, but yeah, he just gave this movie
gravitas.
just a higher class. And so when he was gone, for me, it was a bit bad. Not to say that the rest of the movie was bad or anything like that, because we still get, as you say, we've got now Amelia, who's turned up in a Ferrari, she's at the gas station, and there is
and
like 4 leches at the gas station. Oh, hey, look at her.
Ooh,
yeah, little do they know that she'll have much more power than they could ever fathom. So
well, one of them has, let's say, the best and worst day of his life,
Yeah.
because he, I think he owns the place, and he goes to follow her into the ladies' bathroom. And he's like, "Hey, do you need some help?"
Well, we say she needs help because she's got her breasts out in the mirror, so she's standing.
That's it. She's putting makeup on, because
Yeah.
she's also got like some what seems to be leading up to the pussy stuff that we saw in the other dude.
Yeah, and this is another thing about Species 3 here. We don't get a lot of like naked action. We need more naked action by the time we get to Species 3, because number 1 has it. So, as I say, if number 1 is a major Hollywood movie, MGM, big budget, did big numbers, Ben Kingsley's in it, Hentridge is in it, Michael Madsen, may he rest in peace, is also in it. It's just a superb movie. Once you get to TV style, number 3, I just want more sleaze. I need more sleaze. I think everyone wants more sleaze.
You just always want more sleaze, John.
No, I don't. I've made it very clear on I Know Watch last week that I only want sleaze when the movie calls for it. Yeah, and Species certainly calls for sleaze.
Well, anyway, the gas station guy goes in there and is like, "Do you want some help?" And, his lucky day.
He's not really looking to help. He's like, "Hey, you want some help?"
And she rides him hard.
On the turlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets ridden on the turlet. He can't handle it.
No,
Even before she offs him.
He's like, "Oh my God, slow down."
Even before she puts a hole through his head. He cannot handle
and his mates
the rhythm
were,
that she is riding him
hanging
with.
out around the corner, hearing some noises.
Let's
like,
go and have a look.
And she is done with him, so she offs him.
Like
she
a Black
leaves,
Widow.
She drives off in her car. And the mates go to check. They're like, "Hey, are you in there?" And they go and find him, and they look through a literal hole through his head.
You get that classic thing where they're like... And then you can see the back of his head with the hole and him looking into it. Yeah, classic stuff. So I've written, not a bad way to go.
Like I said,
Not
best
bad.
and worst day of his life.
But it would have been a quick death.
Yeah.
Would have been a quick death, and yeah. You've got Amelia on top of you as your last memory. Not bad at all. So
Amelia turns up at the halls.
At the halls of residence, and she's looking for Hastings.
She finds Hastings, yeah.
Of course.
And she starts quizzing him,
Hastings the horn. He's good but horny.
Good kid. Good kid but horny. So she finds him and she starts quizzing him and quickly finds out that, this isn't the brainiac who gave me the info that I was into.
This is just Hastings.
And I think she does figure out that it's his roommate. Like, he must let it slip or something.
Yeah, it's Dean.
And Dean has, come back to his room to see this happening without being noticed, and he runs away.
Yeah, and we've also got the police officer at this point as well.
Yeah,
haven't we?
so as Dean is...
This is for me when it's going awry. We've got all these other new characters coming in. Oh, now it's a police investigation, and
yeah. So somehow Hastings must know where the lab is, because he takes Amelia to the professor's lab. Dean is stopped on the campus grounds.
I have left the conservatory door open, and it's just started to pour down with rain. I must flee. I'm back.
Yeah, so Dean gets intercepted on the campus grounds by a cop in a car. Some kind of FBI or something, I guess. Because, and...
the movie just goes to hell at this point, with no Robert Nepper.
Yeah, I feel like we can just kind of fast forward through the last bits. So they figure out that Amelia is, kind of bad.
Bad species.
And this lab that we said that Dean was working at for the Dean earlier on...
Dean for the Dean.
...has some kind of, combustion chamber thing in it with magnets. I don't really know. But
and coffee thermoses.
Coffee thermoses. So the plan is to lure they want to lure both species.
Both species, yeah.
Get them into this chamber thing, and basically blasts them to smithereens. And we get the whole typical action movie type thing of like, oh my god, is he going to close it in time, or will we all get blown away?
Yeah, it got very like GoldenEye / Terminator 2 at the end in this place where they were. Was there a slight blast furnace thing, or am I just imagining that?
Yeah,
there's always a blast furnace.
That's the thing that was like heating up.
There's always a blast furnace, yeah.
And Hastings and the like FBI guy or whatever are like, oh my god, we're all gonna die because he's not closing the seal or whatever. And of course, in the very last second, Amelia is chucked into the thing, but unfortunately for Dean, so is Sarah.
Or is she?
And yeah, so that's how we kind of think it's ended for that moment. And I think the last thing that we see, the movie ends on Hastings and Dean bidding farewell to a not dead Sarah, holding hands with a male alien thing that Dean has created, I guess.
For her.
And Hastings is like, hey, was that smart? We've got these things out there and they're going to reproduce. And, you know, Dean is like, oh, don't worry, I've made them both sterile.
Yep.
And
Hastings is like, well, they're going to find that out pretty soon and they're probably going to come for you.
Yeah.
They're walking off into the distance, aren't they? Like, it's a happy ending. But I should also say, when Amelia is put into the blast furnace, and then we think also Sarah's gone into the blast furnace.
Yeah.
We then just get a cutback of Sarah just hanging on at the side of the the apparatus.
Yeah, and Dean didn't tell anyone.
Dean didn't tell anyone. Pulls her up, and when we see Dean back in his house, and Sarah coming down the stairs with this, alien species kid. At first, I thought, okay, he's now made love to her, and that's his kid. But no, he's made the kid for her, but it's going to end up being her partner, which is also a bit strange because I guess he's going to grow up in 2 days. Doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But at the same time, she's now, she's a cougar. She is a cougar.
She's not even been alive for a year. I wouldn't.
No, but she's a cougar. He's been alive for 2 days. She's been alive for about, at least 2 weeks.
Well, either way, I guess somewhat happy ending.
Yeah, not a bad ending, and the problem is, the FBI guy survives, I'm pretty sure, right? He doesn't die, does he? Yeah, obviously, Dean survives, and Hastings survives. A lot of people survived. There could have been more.
Many deaths.
There could have been more killings in the movie, and yeah, for me, just when Dr. Abbott is out of the movie, it really just takes a big downturn. And I might have already said this, but I could tell all of a sudden it turned into a TV movie after he was out of it. It really did. But still, saying that, there's still a lot to be impressed with.
I really enjoyed this
Species
film.
3. Yeah, I was really surprised after Species 2, which I didn't enjoy too much.
I think enjoyable is the
word for it. Yeah, even number 4, The Awakening, is an enjoyable, hour and 25 minutes or whatever. You're not going to be wasting your time watching either Species 3 or Species 4, The Awakening. Just don't expect Alien or Aliens. Don't even expect Species, the first one. But if, like me, you loved Species and were really let down by the second one, give number 3 a go first, and I guarantee there'll be things in there that you like it, especially the practical effects.
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie.
A great movie. So we've gone from decent to great now. Yeah, she's letting it all out. It is
really
your number one, isn't it? It is number one.
How often do I laugh when we watch movies?
But
not often.
Did you not feel that the quality kind of fell off a bit after Dr. Abbott was taken out of the movie? I can see what you're saying. And it went on for a bit long after that for me as well. But still,
yeah,
decent.
It was a bit,
I'll stick
messier.
what you originally said. Decent movie.
So,
moving on to my number 1 and your number 2, The Relic, directed by the one and only Peter Hyams, who's done a few of my favourite movies like End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he fights Gabriel Byrne as the devil. He's also done, I love JCVD, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's done Time Cop, and also Sudden Death. Is it Sudden Death? Yeah, Sudden Death, which is essentially Die Hard in an ice hockey rink with Jean-Claude Van Damme instead of Bruce Willis. That was a great one. Remember that one? Yeah. So this is Peter Hyams. He's director of The Relic. He also chose to shoot this movie. So he's cinematographer of the movie, director of cinematography, and the director. So he's taken on both things. And I mentioned it now. I thought the movie was shot really well. So that's all down to him. He's kind of like not as respected as he should do. Maybe because he's doing JCVD movies. But why shouldn't they be respected? Time Cop's fantastic. Sudden Death is fantastic. Universal Soldier is fantastic.
Because Jean-Claude can't act. That's why.
Double Impact is fantastic. Bloodsport is fantastic. Kickboxer is fantastic. Even Kickboxer Vengeance and Retaliation, which I saw, are fantastic. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. You love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, I don't dislike him.
Everybody loves Jean.
But he can't. My favourite thing with him in movies is that you'll invariably see him doing the side splits in some weird, like, ropes or bars or for no reason.
Well, if you can do the side splits, you're going to show it off.
And also when they cast him as like the All-American, I'm like...
What, Guile in Street Fighter?
For example.
Which I had on the other day. I actually had that on the other day just to double check for probably the 7th time if I still thought it was a poor movie, and it is. It's
like when they put Skarsgård, because he's got the Swedish accent. They're like, oh yeah, he can play Russian, German, you know, just anything European.
Yeah. So let's move away from JCVD, as hard as it may be. Peter Hyams, and so in this movie we've got the great, and again may he rest in peace, Tom Sizemore. He plays a lieutenant from the Chicago Police Department, and we also have Penelope Ann Miller, who plays an anthropologist in like evolutionary biology, I believe, and they team up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's who we have, and yeah,
okay, so this one it starts
with a prologue.
With a prologue scene, yeah. So I don't think she's an anthropologist. It's her Dr. Whitney is the
Dr.
anthropologist.
John Whitney,
and we open up with him in.
I'm pretty sure she's an anthropologist as well.
Okay, I thought she was just some genetic biologist or whatever. Anyway,
maybe
it doesn't matter.
No.
But
it's all science. It's all science.
He is around, you know, a fire with a tribe somewhere.
Well, he's in South America. He's in South America.
Oh, Brazil, they said, right?
He's in South America in the jungle, and he's sitting down around a campfire, like you say.
And we see them like brewing some vat of leaves.
I thought it was like peyote.
Yeah, I thought it was like an ayahuasca ceremony or something.
Something similar to that, yeah.
But it can't be from...
Well, now we know it's probably
from what
not.
We see. But he has like a meltdown.
No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have a meltdown from just taking it. When he takes it, we then have one of the natives crawling. So she's got like face paint on. She's crawling. Oh, was it a dude?
Pretty sure it was a dude. Yeah.
I thought it was a girl, but anyway, a native's crawling towards him. In not wearing much, bit of a headdress thing, costume, and as soon as she bares its teeth, that's when he starts to really freak out.
Yeah,
he freaks the hell out.
Terrified.
That is a great scene. I thought that was a great scene.
It didn't make much sense to me when
whether it
the
made
film
sense or not.
On,
yeah, I do get that.
So we see that scene, and then next thing you know, we're back in Chicago.
Chicago way.
And we're at. Sitting on the dock of the bay, and we see this
cargo ship,
yeah, who's preparing to leave, and Dr. Whitney is there, and he's like, "Oh, the crates that were destined for the Natural History Museum.
I need them.
I need them. Have you got them?" And obviously, it's like, "Oh, we don't really know." So what does he decide to do? He hides himself amongst a bunch of other crates to be loaded onto the ship so that he can search for his crates.
But also, unbeknownst to him, there have been a series of murders on the cargo ship.
No. No. That's not it. That's not it.
I'm pretty sure there's been a bunch of murders on the cargo ship.
There has been, but that's not... No.
So there has been murders on the cargo ship.
I thought you were going to say...
That's why Mr. Sizemore turns up.
I thought you were going to say, unbeknownst to him... His crates were actually delivered by air. They missed the boat, so they're sitting on the dock that he just left behind.
And there's seemingly not much in those crates either.
So he's on this boat bound for who knows where, ship, sorry, and his crates
boat.
His crates are sat there, and next thing, so the reason you're like unbeknownst to him is that it's actually a few weeks later.
Oh, it actually says that on the screen, doesn't it? Yeah.
A few weeks later. Tom Sizemore appears.
The great Tom Sizemore.
The ship was found floating out at sea aimlessly with no visible presence of people on board. And he and a colleague of his are searching the hold when they pull up one of the
Detective
hatches.
Hollingsworth.
They pull up a hatch, and lo and behold, there's a bunch of bodies floating around.
That bit was great.
With heads chopped
That
off.
fluorescent green severed head. Yeah.
And in the meantime, the crates that Dr. Whitney was waiting for have been delivered to his office, even though he's not there. And in one of them is some relic in bits and pieces. And in the other one, packing leaves. So a bunch of leaves and apparently nothing else.
Yeah. Enter South American lizard god in Chicago.
Is that what you've written?
No, that's what's going to my head right now.
I would love it if you wrote down things that dramatically as well.
But written down or not, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're now in Chicago, and we've got Penelope Ann Miller
At
as
the Natural
what I'm thinking is an
History Museum.
anthropologist. You're saying she's not?
No, because she derides Whitney from the anthropology department. You know, she's like, why does he keep getting money and grants for what he does when what I'm doing is way more important? Some sort of genetic biology thing.
So she's mad at Whitney for getting grants, and she's also mad at the Chinese guy for getting grants.
Yeah, so she's
the
applied
dick
for
Chinese guy.
she's applied for a grant and gets
Yeah.
told that so is this other guy, a colleague of hers, I believe.
Maybe she'd be
And
better
she's
at
not
the
happy
job.
about it.
Then she would get the grants, or is this just a sexist industry?
Well, apparently she's told by the people who run the museum that Whitney's stuff is a big seller. You know, the public like what he does, and he's currently.
I can see that. Why wouldn't you after that prologue?
Yeah, anthropology is very interesting in my opinion. And he's
Plus, he's suffering for his science.
isn't he just? We find out that he's opening a new exhibit
Yeah.
on superstition.
The exhibit sounds absolutely fantastic, by the way, yeah, on superstition, like you say. And,
It looked cool as well when we saw it.
Amazonian gods.
Well, I think it was just superstition from everywhere, because at one point later on in the film,
Superstition.
when our female biologist
Penelope
lady,
Ann Miller.
she walks through it, you get the ladders that you're not supposed to walk under, we get umbrellas, open inside, and then we get all the ancient stuff.
Well, the crazy thing is, Tom Sizemore, the lieutenant in the movie, he's obviously the superstitious guy,
Yeah.
right? This film is based off of a novel, and in the novel, the lieutenant is not superstitious. Like, that's just something that they've put into the movie. So did you enjoy Tom Sizemore being superstitious, or did you just feel it was a bit of a
I can
classic,
see how
typical
it was
Hollywood type of thing?
a bit heavy-handed,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't not enjoy it. I just wanted to know if you thought it was
I think
but it's things like that which then I was like, oh, so actually this is based off a novel, because I've seen this movie a lot of times, but I actually never realised, I had never come across the knowledge that it was from a novel. So it was things like him having that superstition and the way that they went about it, which made me just think it was just typical Hollywood fare, because this is the kind of thing that you'd normally get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the beginning of the movies, obviously, so we're in the museum. Penelope Ann Miller's she's working late and stuff. And there's a guy, the old guy in the wheelchair, Dr. Frock.
Yeah, he's the curator.
He's been around the block. He's been around the block. He's been around for a while.
He's a cool guy.
He's a curator. But the first thing and the only thing that really stuck in my head about him was he's having a conversation with Penelope Ann Miller, and they're talking about the ballet, and all of a sudden he hears about the possibility of the topless ballet. And he gets quite excited about that. And I thought, actually, yeah, who wouldn't be?
Well,
who wouldn't be
actually,
excited about topless ballet?
No, that was the bit where they were saying, when Penelope's moaning that Whitney gets all this
With some
money
grant
for his
money.
stuff. And, she's told that, oh, but his stuff is a big seller, it's a hit with the people. And she's like, well, so would topless ushers at the ballet. And then, yeah, the curator's like, well, if there were, then maybe I would go to the ballet. I was like, he's not wrong.
He sounds nothing like that, by the way. But
anyway.
that sounds more like your dad.
I'm sure he'd feel the same.
Yeah, so he's shooting the breeze about topless ballet, and that kind of got me thinking
We
for a little
also
bit.
so he's the curator, and then the tiny woman
Yes, who's in quite a lot of stuff.
is like, I don't know, the director of it or something.
The director or
She's
just the manager
probably-
of the museum.
Yeah, she's high. And have you seen the animation The Incredibles?
No,
No.
I don't watch Disney or DreamWorks crap.
There's a character in that called Edna, and she looks exactly like that. But apparently she's based on a costume designer, not this actress.
Right. So yeah, we're at night time in the museum, and we get our first glimpse of the relic, because there's a guy. You get the nighttime security guard, and he's also got a partner, but one of them goes into the toilet to smoke a bone. So he locks himself in a cubicle, and he hears a noise, and he thinks it could be his security guard partner, but no. It's the relic. You shouldn't be smoking dope, because you're going to die in
a horror
movies.
movie, yeah.
And it's some kind of like, it seemed to me like an elongated arm.
Yeah, like some big hand grabs him.
Comes out and drags him off the toilet. Next we see of him, he's been decapitated in the toilet.
Sizemore is there.
Tom Sizemore shows up, Hollingsworth shows up, and they don't shut the door, so Penelope Ann Miller walks in, and she's doesn't want to see it. And Hollingsworth almost walks over the dead body, and Tom Sizemore not having that because he's superstitious. And all I took from that was the mould that they had made for his decapitated head was very realistic. Very cool.
Yeah, the effects in this were great. I mean, it's Stan Winston. There's a reason there's a whole school based on his knowledge.
He did the creature effect. I'm not sure if he did everything else to do with the effects. Maybe it's from his company or something like that. But yeah, like you say, yeah, all the effects were pretty great in this.
And they didn't end up being a big part of the story, but basically these two kids who skipped school and decided to spend the day in the museum, they like hear some weird stuff, and they also tell Sizemore. No. Sizemore basically finds out Penelope was the last one in the building.
Mm-hmm. And Tom Sizemore has to make sure that there's not some killer on the loose.
Yeah, in this massive
who is hiding out in this
museum.
Exactly, yeah. In this cavernous museum in Chicago.
And to make things even more complicated, the museum is supposed to be holding a benefit.
Exactly. And Tom Sizemore and Penelope Ann Miller, they team up, essentially. It's a bit like Fear.com, when Stephen Dorff and Natasha McElhone team up to see what's been killing all the people in the subway and stuff like this. So I like it when, a scientist and a cop team up to get to the bottom of things.
He is obviously trying to figure stuff out, whereas Penelope's not being very helpful.
You're right, she's not that helpful.
She's not, and she kind of like walks away from him when he's like, "Hey, I need to talk to you," and I was like, "Would you do that with an investigator?"
Don't walk away from Tom Sizemore.
Don't walk away from a cop.
No.
Don't do it. But also these crates that we mentioned that Whitney had sent and that were delivered to his empty office. When Penelope goes in and the curator is there and the director or someone is there, and she's like, "Oh, what was in this one? We don't know, just packing leaves." And she finds some little, like, it looks like caviar to me, like caviar on the
it's
leaves.
funny you mention that, because they say that it's eggs, but to me, they've definitely used caviar.
They say it's fungus.
They've definitely, it doesn't matter what it is. What's important is they've definitely used caviar.
Yeah.
They've used the kind of caviar that you get on top of sushi, that kind of like orangey red sushi. Yeah, that's what came into my head. They use sushi.
There's some big leaves with a bit of caviar, and she's told that
edible. I hope those leaves are edible, because that caviar was tasty.
She's told that these things are going to be incinerated because they think there might be a fungus or something. And of course, being a genetic scientist, she's like, well. And the curator's like, "Yep, help yourself, Penelope." So she takes a few of these leaves in like a cooler box thing, and she starts to try and figure out what exactly this is, which is really important later on in this film.
Joe, so we've said that the security guard is one of the first guys to go, if not the first guy to go in the movie, in terms of like the main lot, and he's obviously been decapitated, because everyone's getting decapitated in this movie. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. Decapitations left, right, and centre, and there's a bit where we're in kind of the lab, and they're working on his body to find out what's happened to him
in the morgue. Yeah,
and so we see again on the gurney, on the bed, whatever it is, we see his body without his head.
And I like the very carefully placed sheet over his crotch.
Yeah, of course. Can't be having an X rating for this movie, NC-17. But the lady that's working on his decapitated head is like, "We had 7 decapitations. Don't you hate people that take head but don't give it?" This is such an obvious joke, but I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Wasn't bad.
And so the security guard, again, his body/head is fantastically well done, because it's not like they shy away from it. They're showing it all kind of different angles.
It is really well done. And
it's superbly well done.
Empty cranium, and we see the part of the brain, and she's the
they work out that the hypothalamus
Thalamus, yeah.
is always removed from the brain.
Yeah, so both on the ship with the victims they found initially and now with the security guy, the hypothalamus is missing. And obviously Tom Sizemore's character is like, what could that be? And yeah, it does become significant later on in the film. And also when they think that they've caught the suspect, Tom Sizemore is like, well, I'm not sure I don't think it can be this guy because why would this guy want a hypothalamus from all his victims?
When they come out of the scene of the security guard and his decapitated head in the lab and stuff like that, we see Tom Sizemore just walking up the steps of the museum in Chicago, and in the back, it's at night time. In the background, you see all the high rises and stuff like this. And I was just thinking to myself, how fortunate are you that you get to shoot in a city like Chicago, which is, you know, incredibly cinematic with high rise and stuff like that. And secondly, to be in that kind of museum, it's just two great places to shoot. Even though the novel is based in New York, but they moved to Chicago for this one. But still, it's just something I was like, yeah, these people have completely lucked out. And it's one of the things with the museum they shoot at. They went to a bunch of other places beforehand and said, you know, we want to shoot this movie, The Relic. It's about this. And we're going to do this. And they were like, oh, no, we don't want that kind of movie shot here. And obviously they get to, I'm not sure what the name of this museum is, but they were like, of course, we love this story.
It's the Chicago Natural History Museum.
And, you know, we want to see this. And it reminds me again, in Scream, when they shoot the campus, which is for Woodsboro High, a bunch of places were like, no, we don't want this kind of material shot at our, you know, shot on our campus and stuff like that. And I was just thinking, what goes through these people's mind when they don't want these kind of things shot on their premises? So I'll be jumping at the opportunity to have like this, because you can know after that you do the tour and say, oh, you know, if you see the relic was shot here, and if you look over here, this is where this happened and this happened. Why would you say no? Just crazy to me. But they lucked out because the place they got was fantastic.
It seems strange to me that they would consider anywhere else, because having been there, I mean, it's right on the water.
Yeah.
There's like the green park in front of it.
That's what I'm saying, how beautiful it looks. It's the perfect place
setting.
to shoot. Yeah.
And especially when we find out, because obviously, again, Tom Sizemore has pieced together, well, it's the same person who's killed the security guy is the perpetrator from the ship.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's like, well, somehow he must have gotten from the ship to the museum. And it turns out that there are like some underground tunnels and stuff that lead there. Quite
cavernous again, yeah. Because he has the two other policemen looking for him, who obviously one of them blows him away, the rapey murderer guy, who Tom Sizemore believes can't be the actual murderer.
Yeah, so the two cops find a homeless, just a bum basically, living in the basement area, and
he's a known murderer.
Yeah, and they think, you know, they've caught the culprit, and that's when I said, you know, Tom Sizemore was like, well, why would this guy be getting people's hypothalamuses out of their heads?
So no, it's very convenient that the people around Tom Sizemore say, oh no, it's got to be this guy, because there's a gala to be had, and the gala will go ahead no matter what. And
the mayor's invited.
Now, so you mentioned the mayor, so the mayor is on the phone, I believe, to Tom Sizemore.
I know what you're going to say
And so the gala will go ahead, and the mayor is on the phone, he's on the blower to Tom Sizemore, and he's like, my wife's cleavage will get me re-elected. Have you seen my wife's cleavage? I was like, well, what a great reason to go along to the museum. See the mayor's wife's heaving bosom, which he's quite enthusiastic about. You know, if he's going to show off, it did ring true to me, you know. The mayor is like, I'm just one guy. I can be the mayor, but what's really going to cinch it for me are my wife's breasts. And it's almost like, for me, I could just be writer, director, but what's really going to cinch getting the movie made for me are my wife's exquisite breasts. Thank you for those. Thank you. So I feel like I could really relate to the mayor at that point. You know, it's nice when you can relate to a character in the movie. It doesn't always happen.
Well, anyway, that bit was quite.
If that's not incentive enough, I don't know what is.
But
Sizemore wants a strong police presence at this gala. He's like, if it's going to go ahead, I need the strongest police presence. I need to be in charge. Hollingsworth's got to be there, my second in charge.
And we're going to shut down all the other areas, so only the main bit where the actual gala is happening.
Is it at this point or just before, where Penelope Ann Miller or one of her, you know, the other scientist ladies discover that there's a beetle with both insect and reptilian DNA.
This has happened a while back in the film already, before the gala. So we see there's this vat that her department uses to like boil down carcasses to feed to the beetles for I don't remember why.
Good stuff.
It comes in later, but also we're told in briefly in passing that some of these beetles have escaped their little enclosure thing. No problem though. They're like tiny little wood mites or whatever they are.
They're like piranhas of the land.
So one of these wood louse
They'll
thingies.
eat all flesh.
One of these wood louse thingies has come across her caviar leaf and had a little munch. And next thing you know, it's like this big. And so it crawls out of the box. She gets some biology book, which we know is massive and heavy, and she crushes it. And that's when she takes the DNA sample and finds out that it's like a hybrid DNA.
It's a hybrid.
It's a hybrid DNA thing.
Who doesn't know that was the late great Val Kilmer in Entourage? Yeah. Yeah. So also when the gala does go ahead and the mayor turns up with his busty wife, the annoying prick Chinese doctor scientist guy who's taken the grant money away from Penelope Ann Miller, he's following the mayor around, like sniffing his arse, laughing at all of his jokes because he wants to be noticed. So you know straight away this guy's gonna get got. And you're just waiting for him to be getting got, aren't you?
Yeah. It's pretty good though. I liked his
character. It is good. No, I did like his character as well. Again, It reminds me of, what is it about in Hollywood movies that they cast, Chinese, Japanese guys in as well? Because if you think about Drag Me to Hell, when the lead actress, she's going for a job, and there's this absolute dickhead who's trying to get in her way.
I don't know, maybe this cliche of them always being...
maybe this is like, East versus West.
No, I was going to say...
I'm not talking about what you were going to say. I'm saying East versus West.
But help me think of the word. That's what you're for, you're my husband. When you want to progress, you've got high aspirations, you're...
Yeah, well, you just said we want to progress.
No, but there's a word for it. Never mind. Generally speaking, there's a cliche that, Asian communities have high aspirations, so maybe that's why.
And are they all dicks about it then?
I really doubt it.
Because that's what Hollywood's telling me. And am I supposed to not believe what Hollywood is telling me through the lens?
Well, anyway,
climbing the ladder. Is this what you're going?
It also turns out that the curator goes to get Penelope and is like, if you don't go to this party and schmooze with the money bags, then you won't get your grant. So he's like there to try and get her to get a move on. But he gets caught up as well in what she's discovered, which is this weird DNA hybrid stuff. And so whilst they're both busy, she's getting changed and he's looking at the computer stuff. The whole place gets shut down because, again, the rival, the Chinese guy that you just mentioned, he's confirmed there's no one in the department because he doesn't want her there so that he can schmooze all by himself. So now Penelope and the curator are locked down and she says, well, we need to go down through some underground passages.
Well, the thing is, a guy is thrown through the roof and then all power is lost.
I thought the power was lost, and then the guy through the roof was
power goes down, and there's pandemonium.
Paratroopers come to try and save the mayor.
But before that, there's pandemonium in the museum where everyone's trying to escape, and you get people getting squashed against the doors and things like that.
Yeah, because the like alien being thing, some massive
the lizard
creature
god, the lizard hybrid god,
is running rampant.
That's a good monster, by the way.
Oh yeah, and also at one point, so Tom Sizemore is there, Penelope is there, the curator is there, and they convene as this monster thing is running down the hallway towards them.
The lizard god.
And they close a metal door, which you think would stop anything, and it almost gets through. So we know it's like insanely powerful. And yeah, the paratroopers have heard that the mayor is locked down in this museum. They need to get him out. So they knock through the glass roof and they start abseiling down. And we see a few of them getting offed by the creature.
You also get that classic thing. So when the mayor is stuck in the room during lockdown, and Hollingsworth is there with him.
Yeah.
Tom Sizemore is elsewhere because he's been, he's been in the tunnels where the dog's been offed by the creature.
Sniffer dogs.
And Tom Sizemore, he's a lover of dogs. At the beginning of the movie, he's just recently divorced and he's lost custody of his own dog. So when he's with the police dogs, he's in his element, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So as I was saying, when the mayor and his busty wife are in this place. He gets a call from Tom Sizemore, and you get that creature thing goes, you can fire me in the morning, but right now, if you want to survive, I'm putting Hollingsworth in charge, and you're going to do everything that he fucking says. And Mayor's got to listen to him.
Yeah,
and
so the
Hollingsworth is in
majority
charge.
of the guests, including this little lady who's like the director of the museum or something, they all follow Hollingsworth down to some underground tunnels, which will eventually lead them out.
I'm pretty sure that I've seen the little lady in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I'm going to look up now while you talk.
Apparently she is quite a prolific actress.
She is a prolific actress. I've seen her in loads of stuff.
You will have done, yeah.
She always plays the same. The same.
Well, anyway, so the majority of the guests do decide to follow Hollingsworth to, evacuate the building via the underground tunnels. But a few of them, so for example, the ultra-rich couple who are the main schmooze targets, the wife is, she uses a cane and stuff, so she's clearly got some sort of physical inhibitions. And a few other people are like, no, I don't fancy crawling around the underground. I'm going to stay right here.
The mayor's not made for that.
Yeah, they're like...
I was right. Her name is Linda Hunt. She plays Dr. Ann Cuthbert, and she's in Kindergarten Cop. The Arnie movie, yeah.
Well, anyway, so there's... Most of them have gone with Hollingsworth, but a few of them have stayed in the main bit where the army have then been deployed to try and evacuate because, as we said, the mayor's in there.
Yeah. Gotta save the mayor.
Yeah.
And his busty wife.
And the two
who is his only hope of getting re-elected.
Yeah, and they do leave a policeman behind as well with them, but it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, so at this point, we've got a little group in the main hall. We've got a larger group following Hollingsworth, who they're going down tunnels, and the tunnels at some point are also submerged to a certain point in water, so they're wading through.
But look,
Wasser.
have the like the Navy SEALs, whatever they have, yet burst through the roof of the museum, and he's like going down,
abseiling,
and then he sees Stan Winston's monsters. Like, no, pull me up, pull me up. And as they pull him up,
he gets got. Yeah,
he's put in half.
So the first guy,
because the thing is, in this movie, I've mentioned like the first glimpse we get of the relic is the guy in the toilet. He gets pulled away. After that, it takes a long time until, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying we get to the last 25 minutes, so we finally get to see the monster a lot. So when you start saying about the monster is now causing havoc at all times, decapitating everybody.
This monster is mental. Because...
And we get to see a lot of him as well. He has these giant pincer things in front of his neck/face, which he uses to decapitate people.
Yeah,
and
which we finally actually see.
He's like a bird, lizard. He's made up of like a whole bunch of things. Yeah, quadruped. Like, what is it? It's fascinating because you only get to see him kind of like in the dark, and they reveal him like, or it's like here, there, now and again.
And again,
I prefer that way, because if you keep it in the dark, because they do use CGI in this movie to see it like kind of like running at speed and things like this. But when it's the actual monster, it is a thing to behold.
And when Penelope really is running the DNA through her computer, it's coming up with all sorts of different creatures that it matches with.
And apparently it started off as human. So this thing started off as human, and it turns out, we've got to speed up a little because we're at the end of the movie, Dr. Whitney.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Whitney.
Yeah.
Is this a bit that you don't agree with the movie?
I just don't really get it. So I know we saw the prologue thing.
I don't think it has to explain to you. I think you're just supposed to glean from that and now he's like put himself in the casket or whatever.
But no, because, okay, so we see him in the prologue thing, drinking that, being scared.
Great prologue.
Then we see him like desperate for the crates. Then he gets on the ship and it's the wrong crate and he's really sad. But then the next thing you know, he's obviously turned on the ship, killed all the crew, gotten into the museum and started his rampage there. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me. And we find out basically that in this culture, that he was visiting, there was a legend, which clearly turns out to be true, that when their tribe was threatened, they would select someone as, the sacrifice.
Heir apparent of sacrificial, yeah.
And they would give this person the caviar or whatever it is.
The caviar. Yeah, the delicious orange caviar.
And then they'd go and hide out.
How can you resist?
The caviar muncher would turn into some super creature and destroy their enemies. And it survives
they call it the chimera. So it can be a god or the complete opposite, basically.
And a mix of creatures. And then it survives by eating the human hypothalamus, because it needs these hormones. It's like built from hormones. And once it's killed the enemy tribe and it runs out of prey, it will eventually die off.
Hello, baby.
So that's the thing, and they figured all this out, and they figured out that the human, Dr. Whitney, all of this stuff, but they're still like, well, we can't just wait for it to die off. We have to try and kill it somehow. And the next,
Well, I was going to say, just when Penelope Amelia finds out that it is Dr. Whitney, and they obviously know each other previously.
She doesn't seem to like him very much.
No, and Dr. Whitney, as the giant monster, is chasing Penelope Amelia through the museum, and he gets right up close to Penelope Amelia's face, and I think, is it at that point that she says, "I know you, we know each other," blah blah blah. He's clearly had a crush on her before, because he releases his giant tongue,
licks her
and licks her breasts and all up her face. Pretty grim.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he meets his maker pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, so it turns out that Penelope and Tom Sizemore have been separated. He was like, leave me behind, I'm going to kill it. Little does he know, it's actually on the side of the door that Penelope's on. So then Penelope does like a last minute thing. She's a scientist, of course, and she's in the lab, so she's got all these materials around her. She gets flammable liquid all over the place. Then she creates a concoction, a mix of two different things in separate jars that are highly flammable. And at the last second, when she's being licked and whatnot by Whitney Monster, she goes down in like an elevator thing and sets him on fire. However, of course, we know that that's not enough to kill this monster. So she gets into the previously mentioned vat that they used to use to break down carcasses. She closes that, and there's an explosion. Chimera's dead. She's alive. Tom Sizemore finds her and opens the lid and lets her out of the water tank. Yeah. We've also missed, during this time, the party that are down in the tunnels with the water. The creature can clearly
swim and be submerged.
Because he pulls a couple of people
underwater.
And that was it. I thought it was interesting. They clearly Tom Sizemore and Penelope clearly like entice the creature away from that group by taking some of the leaves and like getting the scent through the tunnels. But they didn't seem to have much of a plan of how to kill him. They had like a thing to try and freeze him, I think, but it obviously didn't work. Anyway, it all ends up pretty happy days.
And
apart from for the people who got killed, but
so we get fire, much like in the end of Species 4. There's another fire ending in that. No, the ending is fire. No, what I mean is they burn down.
Cool guys don't look at explosions.
They burn down Species Awakening. This was a cool movie. Is this the first time you've seen the Relic?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'd seen this, I guess at least 6 or 7 times. Always really enjoyed it. Always got it mixed up with Mimic, which was by Guillermo del Toro. I'm not sure if you've seen that one. It's quite similar, and it's about a giant cockroach, essentially. And they came out. I think it might have even came out the same year. And I think I prefer this over Mimic. And it will become more apparent if you watch Mimic as well. It's quite similar movies, but I also I'm a huge fan of Tom Sizemore. What do you think of?
I am much. Too. I have seen him. I can't say what in, but I've seen him.
What we've seen him is we see him in my second favorite, my all-time second favorite Scorsese movie is Bringing Out the Dead, where Nicolas Cage plays the like ambulance paramedic. He drives an ambulance at night time.
That really weird one.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's I mean
Yeah.
it's the most underrated Scorsese movie of all time. But my favorite Scorsese movie of all time is Goodfellas. But now and again, Bring Out the Dead
Yeah.
will overtake it. And Tom Sizemore was in that as a or another guy who's also. Is they not called? Are they the guys that just drive the ambulances? They're not paramedics, right? Is that what they're called, or well, they're the guys that drives up the ambulance at high speed. And he's a guy that he's had enough of a guy out on the street who keeps causing trouble, and he constantly wants to beat him up. And just Tom Sizemore's incredible at that. But the thing is, Mr. Sizemore, may he rest in peace. He had trouble doing his career with like drugs and stuff, so he ended up a bit like Eric Roberts, Michael Madsen, may almost rest in peace, also rest in peace, where he started doing those like not even straight to video, just stuff where you'd have to make like 17 movies a year, like trash. We've actually seen him in one of the movies where I think it's like the girl was like being hunted down by the devil and she has to go and get some help, and Tom Sizemore just happens to be in it. But he is a fantastic actor.
Very similar.
They are very
to
similar.
me,
Yeah,
so.
they are very similar, and they both met the same kind of fate. In terms of their career, in terms of the movies they started to do and things like that. But in proper movies and when he's on form, Tom Sizemore for me is like just incredibly watchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got an aura.
Yeah, big fan of his.
So yeah, I thought again this film was very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
There were moments where I was a bit dry.
You weren't believing the science, no?
Well, it was a bit too much science.
Well, the thing is, I was going to say about the science talk, even a dullard like me was following along, so it kind of been that.
No, but it was just a bit like, maybe because like sciences were one of my least favourite subjects in school, so I'm just not someone who's that interested in it.
Let's not make it all about you, and your academic
this is supposed
preferences.
to be about us saying what we enjoy and not enjoy. So I'm saying that there were bits that I thought were a bit.
Away from Tom Sizemore, though, what else did you enjoy? The Monster? I thought The Monster was pretty cool in this.
Yeah, the monster was fine.
It's hidden.
I wouldn't
It's
say
hidden.
like specifically I enjoyed the monster.
I'm talking about the CGI. I'm talking about the when you can tell that it's the real thing. They're moving, living.
I enjoy it in a film like this when you're kind of left still waiting to see what is actually going on, because it's pieced together slowly, and as you said earlier on, you don't see the monster for ages.
Yeah, it's got a nice build.
So yeah, it's like what is the answer here? Why is this happening? Without it just being like one of those psychological ones.
This was a $40 million movie, and it only made about 33, so it lost money. But it's one of those things that after it came out on video and DVD, it found an audience and ended up making money. You can see why. So you don't always hit in the cinema, but if something's good, it will always find an audience. And
Great
this is one of
title
those films.
as well, The Relic.
Yeah, The Relic's a very good title.
Relic.
So 3,
It's fun to say that.
as you said, pretty decent movies this week. Species 3, Species 4, The Relic. I'll probably recommend them all, really.
I stand by my rankings though from the beginning. For me personally, my enjoyment of them, that was
I'm still saying that because of the death of Robert Nepper, Dr. Abbott, that killed the movie. It's the same thing as if they'd killed off Tom Sizemore in The Relic. It just would have, I don't care anymore. Gotta keep Tom Sizemore alive. Gotta keep Robert Nepper alive. Yeah. So yeah, 3 good movies.